It's getting ready to be something. They had court today, and boy, let me tell you, them grand juries, they ain't hearing nothing but some pure speculation that might lead to an arrest of David and Celeste Rivas Hernandez murder. Let's go. Exclusive, David. Record exec appears before grand jury. Why didn't you call police? The president of David's touring company was grilled on Monday by a deputy district attorney in front of a grand jury on why he didn't call the cops. A grand jury is hearing evidence in the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. TMZ broke the story. LAPD's robbery homicide division is considering David a suspect in what it says is an apparent homicide. Robert Morgenroth, the general manager of Mogul Vision, David's record label, is also the president of Zara Brothers Travel, David's tour company. We've learned Morgenroth testified all day Monday before the LA grand jury. At one point, with half a dozen people in the hallway, Morgenroth came out into the hallway and was talking to his lawyer, loud enough so others could hear. He said, referring to Beth Silverman, the deputy DA presenting the case before the grand jury, she was very pushy on why I didn't call the police. He went on to recount how he responded. I said, I feel like I didn't have a responsibility to do that and just wanted to continue with the tour. We do not know the time frame of the tour to which he was referring, but David was on tour when Celeste's body was discovered in his Tesla, which had been parked near the LA house he was renting. This underscores that David is squarely in the crosshairs of the LAPD and LA County District Attorney. When did you last see David in person before the tour? Who controlled the Tesla? Who drove it? Who parked it? When did you first become aware that something was wrong? Why didn't you call the police? I mean, you were aware that something was wrong, right? So why didn't you call the police? That's what it sounds like they're trying to say from TMZ. Take a listen to this clip that they dropped on Instagram. Roll it.
There is a very interesting development in the case involving singer David and Celeste Rivas, the woman who was found dead in his car. There is a grand jury that has been hearing evidence in this case. And it is clear to us, based on what we know with the LAPD and now what we know with the LA County DA, that David is in the crosshairs as a suspect. Something happened outside the grand jury room in the hallway that seems to rope in
really focus on
music executives who may or may not know something connected to all of this.
In fact, the person who spent most of the day on Monday testifying before the grand jury is a guy who is the head of David's record label and the tour company that operates his most recent tour. His name is Robert Morgenroth Jr. And he, like I said, spent most of the day on Monday before the grand jury. When he walked out of the grand jury, and this is what you're referring to, there was a conversation he had with his lawyer in a hallway.
Now let's explain this. This is a kind of wide hallway outside of the criminal courts building, and the hallway echoes. And there were about a half dozen people around, and he was talking loud enough that people heard it.
Right.
And what was said, her name is Beth Silverman. She is a very seasoned prosecutor, very aggressive prosecutor.
And what he said to his lawyer in this hallway, again, loud enough for other people to hear, he said, she was grilling me about why I didn't call cops.
Why I didn't call cops. That is really, really interesting. Now, his response is also interesting.
Right. He said, I feel like I didn't have the responsibility to do that and just wanted to continue with the tour.
So let's kind of unpack this. Number one, we can't say what he was supposed to call cops about, according to the DA. This could have to do with anything except for one thing. It seems that the DA believed that there was some criminal conduct for which cops should be called.
Right.
That seems
Why else
obvious.
would the DA be asking that?
And what the case is about is the LAPD and apparently the DA believe that David may have been the culprit here in the death of Celeste Rivas.
We know that they are operating as calling him a suspect in her death.
That's right. And his answer to me sounds like someone who was either told some information or knew some information, formed a judgment that he wanted to continue with the tour rather than call police. It doesn't sound as if he was maybe sort of not in the know. It sounds as if he knew something.
Well, that's
why the DA was pushing on this.
The other thing we don't know here is exactly what tour he's referring to. But we do know that when the body was found in David's car, he was on tour, in the middle of a tour that even after the news of the body being found in his car, continued that tour for another week or so.
Now, to be fair, this gentleman was with David since 2022, and there have been 3 tours. So it could be a prior tour, except the prior tour doesn't really make sense because Celeste wasn't an issue until this tour.
What criminal activity was going on?
What criminal activity was going on? But you connect the dots there.
And this dovetails with our understanding that he is considered a suspect. David is considered a suspect, and this now dovetails with the prosecutor grilling.
You're in front of a grand jury, and you're asking
you're trying to get charges.
His tour manager about, obviously.
So and it's a big no-no to be overheard. I'm not sure it was intentional. However, that hallway does echo. We've been in it many, many times, but it is taken very seriously when the grand jury proceedings are publicly available in this way.
And it just is interesting. It's like, why didn't you tell police? It means he said something or acknowledged something that triggered the DA to say that. That if you knew what you just said, why didn't you call the police? And he's saying, not my responsibility. My job is to make sure the tour goes on. That's really interesting.
Here's what I want to know. Were the feds in there? Were the feds in there as well? I've been having this theory that David's going to get hit with trafficking a minor in the Mann Act. I think the question were these. Have you ever seen this little girl? If y'all want, I'll start from the beginning. Hey, what's your name? Blah, blah, blah. What do you do? Blah, blah, blah. What's your relationship with David? Blah, blah, blah. How long have you been doing this for? Blah, blah, blah. All right. And how would you describe your relationship with David? Blah, blah, blah. Have you ever seen this? I'm speeding, of course. Have you ever seen this young lady right here? Blah, blah, blah. Has she ever been on that tour bus with you guys? Blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And, you heard she was dead, right? We can stop the blah, blah, blah. Yeah, uh-huh. So now we know that you've had her on the tour bus. She's been with y'all. You've seen her. You've known her. You ever know that she was missing? And if you did, why didn't you call the police? He said it felt like it wasn't. That's what makes sense to me. It sounds like that question or that statement he made outside for everybody, to me, it screams prior knowledge of Celeste being around and then finding out that she was a missing minor. Meaning, why didn't you call the police and say, hey, bro, when I found this out, bro, I probably should have called the police when I found out that she actually was a missing child. I think that's what happened, because anything else sounds kind of, dare I say, involvement-wise-ish. Because how much information could he have known about that Tesla? How much information could he have known in general? Only thing he knows is, let me get the money. So maybe the alternative is he's been to that house and he's seen her in that house. And then probably found out she was a minor or something like that they was rocking with. To me, it stems around her being a freaking minor. It does not stem to me from her being murdered or her being harmed at all. Just gonna be fair, square, obvious, and honest. Now, I could be wrong. It could be basically something that leads up to, dare I say, the shit that they had, like pills and all of this stuff, from him coming inside the house and noticing drugs and all this stuff. And basically, she might have been sprawled out on the floor or something like that. And I'm going to be fair. Yeah, I would ask the question why your ass ain't called the police. You obviously see these cats pass out on the floor with all type of drugs, because what they had essentially was a party house. But we shall see. Let me know y'all thoughts on this one. Update right before your last lunch break, yeah? Whew. Click right here to see how 50 Cent, unit got on Ja Rule's ass with a Gene Deal clip that is going mega viral. But my stance on it might blow your mind. Click right here, or click right here for the playlist, and I'll catch you on the next one. Reload it.